There are things about you that no one else can see, smiles you wear in public that hide the storms within, silent battles you fight that you never put into words, dreams you carry deep in your soul that even those closest to you would not fully understand. And sometimes that feels isolating, like you are walking with a heart full of secrets, unseen and unheard. But here is the comfort: nothing inside you is ever truly hidden. The quiet hopes, the suppressed fears, the tears you never let fall, they are all known. Every thought that passes through your heart, every ache you swallow, every longing you don't dare express, all of it is already understood, and that is where your strength lies, because you don't have to explain yourself perfectly to be understood. You don't have to prove your worth for your feelings to matter. You don't have to shout your pain to be heard. The deepest parts of you are not lost, not overlooked. They are seen, they are acknowledged. They are cared for. Think about how heavy life feels when you carry secrets alone, how draining it is to walk through days pretending everything is fine, how lonely it feels to think nobody knows what you're holding inside. Yet, even in that loneliness, you are not truly unseen. There is one who knows the entire story, not just the parts you show the world, but the hidden pages, the unspoken chapters, the lines written in invisible ink. That knowledge is not a weakness, it's a source of strength. It means you can rest in the truth that you are fully understood, even in your silence. It means you don't have to beg for recognition or exhaust yourself trying to make others see your worth. The secrets of your heart are not a burden you carry alone, and when you realize this, something shifts. Your shoulders feel lighter, your heart feels calmer, because you know you are not defined by who misunderstands you or by the words you cannot say. You are defined by the one who already knows. So in moments when you feel invisible, when you are convinced no one understands your struggles, remind yourself, your heart is not hidden. Every ache is noticed. Every unspoken prayer is heard. Every secret is already known. That is why your heart is stronger than you think. Because its strength doesn't come from being seen by people. It comes from being fully known, inside and out, in ways beyond what words can describe. Your strength is not in hiding your struggles or pretending to be unbreakable. Your strength is in knowing you don't have to be, because even in your rawest, most vulnerable moments, you are understood. And when you carry that truth within you, you walk differently. You no longer feel the need to explain every piece of yourself to the world. You no longer feel crushed when others fail to notice your efforts. You no longer collapse under the weight of being unseen, because you know nothing inside you is ever truly a secret, and that is your strength. One of the hardest parts of being human is the feeling that no one truly understands you. You go through moments where words don't seem enough, where your emotions are too tangled to explain, where the weight you carry can't be put neatly into sentences. You might try to tell someone what you're going through, but they misinterpret, they minimize, or they simply don't get it. And so you stay silent. That silence can feel heavy. You start to believe that if no one sees your pain, then maybe it doesn't matter. If no one can read your heart, maybe your struggles aren't valid. But that isn't true. The deepest truth is this: you are fully understood without explaining. Every thought, every emotion, every silent tear is already known, even before you give it a voice. There is a unique comfort in that realization. Imagine never having to justify why you feel the way you do. Imagine not needing to dress up your pain with explanations, not needing to prove your heart's sincerity. To be understood without speaking is a freedom many of us long for, because so often we feel like strangers even to those closest to us. Think about the moments you've cried quietly at night, with no one around to hear you. Or the times you've walked into a crowded room smiling on the outside while your heart was breaking inside. Maybe you've carried dreams so fragile you've been too afraid to share them, or maybe you've battled thoughts that were too complex to describe. Yet none of that is lost. Every hidden moment is still seen, every unspoken word is still heard. This truth changes the way you view loneliness. Even when people fail to notice, even when your struggles go unrecognized, you are not unseen. There is a deeper awareness at work, one that doesn't need explanations, one that doesn't need you to translate your heart into words. It is enough that you feel it. It is enough that it lives within you. And when you rest in that awareness, something shifts inside you. You stop carrying the pressure to always explain yourself. You stop exhausting yourself trying to be understood by people who may never see the full picture. Instead, you find peace in knowing that you are already understood completely, fully, perfectly. It's like carrying a secret diary in your soul, one you never show to anyone, yet you know every page is being read with care. That knowledge allows you to breathe a little easier. It reassures you that nothing is wasted, not a sigh, not a tear, not a single hope that beats quietly in your chest. And here's the beautiful part. Being fully understood without explaining means you don't have to be perfect to be accepted. You don't need flawless words or polished emotions. You don't have to make sense of everything before you are seen. You are understood as you are, in your rawest, messiest, most vulnerable form. That kind of understanding is rare in this world, but it is always present where it matters most. So when you feel invisible, remember, invisibility is only in human eyes. In reality, you are fully known. When you feel misunderstood, remember, your heart doesn't need an audience to be valid. When you feel silenced, remember, your silence still speaks loudly where it counts. That is your strength, because it means you can walk through life without the constant fear of being misread. You can endure loneliness without despair. You can carry your dreams and your burdens, knowing they are already understood, even if never spoken aloud. And in that truth there is rest, there is peace, there is strength. Every person carries struggles that the world cannot see. Behind steady smiles are hearts that tremble. Behind confident voices are doubts that echo in silence. Behind daily routines are battles fought in the shadows, where no applause is given and no comfort is offered. We walk among one another unaware of the weight each soul quietly shoulders. And sometimes it hurts to know that the world doesn't see what you're going through. You go to work, attend school, sit with family, laugh with friends, all while fighting wars no one notices. The heaviness of pretending, of masking pain, can feel unbearable. You may think to yourself, if no one sees my struggle, does it even matter? But it does, because your hidden struggles are not invisible. There is one who knows every silent battle, every sleepless night, every deep sigh, every tear you blink away before it falls. None of it is missed. You don't need to broadcast your pain to make it real. You don't need to prove your suffering for it to be acknowledged. The unseen parts of your life are fully visible in the place that matters most. That truth is powerful because it means you are never alone in what you face. Even if no friend checks in, even if family doesn't notice, even if the world seems blind to your struggles, you are still seen. Every burden you carry has already been measured. Every hardship you endure has already been counted. Think about how often people misjudge one another. They assume your life is easy because you smile. They assume you're strong because you don't complain. They assume you're happy because you don't cry in public. But assumptions are fragile. They don't capture the reality of the heart. The truth is, many of the strongest people you know are the ones carrying the heaviest unseen battles. And maybe that's you. The beauty is that you don't need validation from others to know your struggle matters. Even when no one claps for your resilience, even when no one praises your patience, even when no one sees the sacrifices you make, it is still noticed. Your endurance is not wasted. Your pain is not overlooked. Your hidden battles are recorded with more accuracy and compassion than any human could give, and this should give you strength, because it means you can continue without despair. You don't have to depend on people always recognizing your effort. You don't have to feel invisible just because the world doesn't see. You are already seen. So the next time you feel the sting of being overlooked, remind yourself that visibility in human eyes is not what defines you. What defines you is the fact that your hidden struggles are fully known, and because they are known, they are cared for. Because they are seen, they are never wasted. Because they are acknowledged, they will always matter. This changes the way you carry your pain. You stop feeling the need to shout your suffering in order to be heard. You stop feeling the urge to explain every wound in order to be understood. You stop measuring your worth by how many people notice your battle scars. Instead, you walk with quiet confidence, knowing that even the hidden parts of your story are fully visible where it counts. So, yes, you may walk through life with silent wars no one else will ever understand. But never forget, they are not invisible, they are recorded, they are known, and they make you stronger in ways that only hidden battles can. And that knowledge, that's what keeps you standing tall even when no one else applauds. Every person carries secrets in their heart, private thoughts, quiet fears, unspoken prayers, and fragile dreams. Some of these secrets are beautiful, the hopes you nurture, the visions you imagine for your future. Others are heavy, the regrets you keep hidden, the wounds you never talk about, the mistakes you wish you could undo. And often, we treat these secrets as something shameful, something to bury so deeply that no one ever finds them. But what if your secrets aren't signs of weakness? What if instead they are part of your strength? The truth is, your secrets shape you. The struggles you've carried in silence have taught you resilience. The tears you've cried quietly have softened your heart in ways that make you more compassionate. The dreams you've hidden away have kept hope alive, even in seasons when it felt easier to give up. These secret parts of you are not stains on your life, they are threads that weave your strength. Think about it. The most powerful people are not those who have never struggled. They are the ones who carry their battles deep within and keep moving forward anyway. The most compassionate souls are not those untouched by pain. They are the ones who have suffered quietly and learned to see others with gentleness. The most hopeful dreamers are not those who always shout their visions. They are the ones who protect their hopes in silence until the right time comes. Your secrets are not meant to shame you. They are reminders that you are deeply known. Even when no one else sees the full picture, there is an awareness of every hidden part of you, and in that awareness, nothing is wasted. The things you think disqualify you are often the very things that make you strong. Shame tells you to hide. It whispers that if people knew the truth about you, the struggles, the doubts, the mistakes, they would turn away. But strength reminds you that you don't need to be defined by what others see or don't see. You are more than the parts of your life you keep hidden. You are the courage it takes to keep going in spite of them. When you shift your perspective, secrets stop being weights that drag you down and start being treasures that shape who you are. The private battles you fought in silence, they've made you stronger than you realize. The regrets you've buried, they've taught you lessons that no textbook ever could. The quiet prayers you've whispered with no one around to hear, they've planted seeds of hope that continue to grow in your soul. Even the parts of you that feel messy and broken carry purpose. They humble you, they soften you, they make you real. And while the world often teaches us to flaunt only the polished, perfect sides of ourselves, it's the hidden, unspoken parts that carry the deepest truth. Your strength lies not in being flawless, but in being real. And being real means carrying secrets not as chains of shame, but as layers of your humanity. They remind you that you've survived what you thought you couldn't. They remind you that your heart is deeper than anyone knows. They remind you that you are never truly unseen, so instead of despising your secrets, honor them. They are proof of your journey, they are witnesses to your endurance, they are companions in your growth. And above all, they are already known in the place that matters most, which means you don't have to carry them with fear. Your secrets do not weaken you, they strengthen you, not because they're easy to bear, but because you've borne them and kept walking anyway. Not because they're light, but because you've learned how to carry them with dignity. Not because they're glamorous, but because they've taught you authenticity. So the next time shame tries to convince you that your secrets make you unworthy, remember this: your secrets are not stains. They are stories, and those stories are the very things that make your heart strong. One of the greatest weights we carry in life is the need to be seen, approved, and validated by others. We crave acknowledgement. We want our efforts noticed, our struggles recognized, our worth affirmed. And when that validation doesn't come, when people overlook us, misunderstand us, or dismiss our value, it can feel crushing. But here is the truth: you don't need validation from people to be worthy. Your value does not depend on the applause of a crowd or the recognition of those around you. Think about it: how often have you given your all to something, only to have no one notice? You stayed up late working, gave your best to your family, showed up for your friends, endured hardships silently, and not a single person said, "Thank you" or "I see you." In those moments, it's easy to feel invisible. Easy to believe that your efforts don't matter because they weren't acknowledged. But your worth doesn't rise or fall with people's attention. You are not more valuable when they clap for you, and you are not less valuable when they don't. Validation is nice, yes, but it is not necessary, because your worth is already secure. The problem with depending on validation from people is that it's inconsistent. People are forgetful. They are busy with their own lives. Sometimes they don't notice, and sometimes they simply don't care. If your worth is tied to their recognition, you'll always be on shaky ground. One day you'll feel worthy because someone praised you, and the next you'll feel invisible because no one did. That cycle is exhausting. Freedom comes when you realize that the deepest recognition doesn't come from people. You are already fully seen, fully known, fully acknowledged. Nothing about you is overlooked. Your sacrifices, your struggles, your silent endurance, they are all recorded, even when no one else notices. This shifts everything. Suddenly, you can do good without needing applause. You can persevere without demanding recognition. You can serve, love, and endure without keeping score of who noticed, because you know it all matters even if people don't say so. When you release the need for constant validation, you also protect yourself from disappointment. You stop expecting others to fill a void they were never meant to fill. You stop resenting them when they don't recognize your worth, because you realize your worth was never in their hands to begin with. And here's something beautiful: when you stop chasing validation, you become more authentic. You stop living for other people's approval and start living from your true self. You no longer do things just to be noticed, but because they are meaningful to you, because they align with your heart. That authenticity is far more powerful than any applause you could receive. This doesn't mean validation is bad. Compliments, encouragement, recognition, they're all wonderful gifts, but they are not the foundation of your worth. They are extras, not essentials. The foundation is already unshakable. You are valuable because you are fully known, even without explanation, even without applause. So the next time you feel invisible, remind yourself, invisibility in human eyes does not equal invisibility in truth. The next time your efforts go unacknowledged, remember, they still matter deeply. The next time you long for someone to tell you that you're enough, remind yourself, you already are. You don't need validation from people to walk tall. You don't need constant applause to keep going. You don't need recognition to know your life has meaning. Because the very fact that you are fully seen, even in silence, even in hidden struggles, is proof enough. And once you carry that truth, you can move through life with quiet confidence. You can love without demanding love in return. You can serve without waiting for thanks. You can endure without feeling invisible. Because you no longer live for validation, you live from a place of being already known. And that is strength no crowd can give you, and no silence can take away. There is a unique kind of peace that comes from being fully known. To be seen not just for the version of yourself you present to the world, but for the layers underneath the fears, the struggles, the hidden battles, the unspoken hopes. Most of the time, we go through life wearing masks. We show people what we think they can handle, what we believe they'll accept. We share the polished parts, the victories, the carefully worded pieces of our story. But deep down, we carry parts of ourselves that feel too messy, too complicated, or too heavy to reveal. And because of that, we sometimes feel painfully alone. You might have a room full of people around you, but still carry the weight of believing if they knew the whole truth, would they still stay? Would they still see me the same way? That is where the comfort of being fully known becomes powerful. There is nothing more healing than realizing that you don't have to explain every detail of your heart to be understood. That even the parts you keep hidden, the doubts, the disappointments, the scars, are already seen, already known, already embraced. This kind of knowing creates safety. Think about it. When someone knows only part of you, you're always performing. You're always working to maintain the image they've seen. But when you are known completely, there's no performance left. You can rest, you can breathe, you can finally stop proving and just be, and that rest brings a deep comfort the world cannot give. Because the truth is, people's understanding will always have limits. Even the kindest, most empathetic souls cannot crawl all the way into your heart. They cannot always understand why you break down at certain memories, why you get anxious about things they think are small, why you wrestle with doubts you can't even put into words. But there is one who does. Your silence still speaks, your tears are still heard, Your heart is still read like an open book, even when your lips say nothing. That complete understanding is a comfort unlike any other. It tells you you are not invisible. You are not too complicated, you are not too much, you are fully known and still fully valued. This comfort changes the way you live. Instead of walking around burdened by the fear of being misunderstood, you can carry yourself with quiet confidence. Instead of constantly explaining yourself, you can rest in the truth that you don't have to. Instead of fearing rejection, you can trust that you are already embraced at your deepest level. There is freedom in that. You stop editing your story for the sake of others' approval. You stop carrying shame for things that are already understood. You stop hiding behind masks because you realize the masks were never necessary in the first place. And here's something beautiful. Once you taste the comfort of being fully known, you start to extend that same grace to others. You stop demanding that people explain every detail of their behavior. You stop judging what you cannot see. You recognize that just as you carry unspoken battles, so do they, and instead of pushing them for explanations, you offer patience, compassion, and space. That cycle of comfort spreads outward, because the peace of being known completely makes you gentler, kinder, and more understanding. It frees you from the exhausting need to defend your worth. It allows you to love from a place of fullness, not emptiness. So the next time you feel misunderstood, hold on to this truth. Being misunderstood by people does not mean you are unknown. The next time you wrestle with feelings you cannot even put into words, remember, they are already understood. And the next time you feel unseen, remind yourself, your life is fully witnessed, every detail, every layer, every hidden corner. And in that, there is deep comfort, the kind of comfort that doesn't depend on explanations, that doesn't waver with people's opinions, that doesn't fade when you're alone. A comfort that tells you you don't need to hide because you are already known completely. And in being known, you are safe. In being known, you are enough. In being known, you are finally free to rest. Strength doesn't always roar. It doesn't always look like loud victories or bold declarations. Sometimes strength is the quiet, steady assurance that you are not carrying life on your own. It's the kind of strength that grows in silence, the kind you may not even notice until you realize how far you've come. There are moments when words fail you, when you've explained your pain so many times but no one really understands, when you've cried until your tears run dry but nothing outside has changed, when you're too tired to even ask for help anymore. In those moments it would be easy to collapse into despair, to believe that you are weak. But the truth is, strength is being formed even then. It is in the stillness that you begin to realize every step you take, even the small ones, is guided. Every burden you carry, even when it feels unbearable, is known, and that silent assurance that nothing you feel is overlooked gives you a kind of resilience that no one can take away. Strength, after all, isn't about appearing unbreakable. It's about knowing that even if you break, you won't remain shattered. Silent assurance whispers to your heart, you can rise again, you can keep going, you are not forgotten. And somehow, even when your circumstances haven't shifted, your heart finds the courage to take one more step. Think about how often we confuse strength with noise. We think the strongest people are the ones who never cry, never falter, never admit their struggles. But in reality, the strongest souls are the ones who keep showing up in the silence. The ones who endure without applause, the ones who even in their loneliest nights believe there is meaning in what they're going through. This assurance is subtle but powerful. It's what allows you to smile when no one knows the battles you're fighting. It's what lets you choose kindness even when your heart is tired. It's what gives you the courage to trust the process even when you can't see the outcome yet. That isn't weakness, that is quiet strength. And here's the beauty. Silent assurance isn't dependent on external validation. It doesn't matter whether people recognize your efforts or not. It doesn't matter if the world underestimates you, overlooks you, or misunderstands you. Your assurance doesn't come from them. It comes from the deeper truth that you are seen in ways beyond human eyes. This changes how you live. You stop craving constant affirmation because you know you are already known. You stop fearing uncertainty because you trust that even in the unknown you are guided. You stop resenting your struggles because you recognize that they are shaping something stronger in you. Strength then becomes less about control and more about surrender. It's not about forcing life to go your way, but about resting in the assurance that even when life feels out of control, you are not alone in it. That kind of rest fuels resilience. It allows you to breathe in the middle of chaos, to find calm in the middle of storms, to keep faith when everything around you feels shaky. You may not always feel strong, and that's okay. Strength doesn't always feel like a surge of energy. Sometimes it feels like barely holding on, but holding on still. Silent assurance reminds you that the quiet persistence in your heart, the choice to not give up, is strength in its purest form. So when you find yourself doubting, when the silence feels heavy, remind yourself, silence does not mean absence. Assurance does not always shout. Sometimes it simply rests deep inside you, steady and unwavering. And in that quiet knowing, you are stronger than you realize. Strength is not always about the battles you win in the open. Sometimes it's about the courage you nurture in secret. And when you walk with that silent assurance, you carry within you a strength that will outlast every storm.